Getting drafted into any professional sports league is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, an experience some take for granted. In order to succeed, many players will often train during and after the season to continue to eat and live out healthy lifestyles. But for one player, his off-season routine wouldn't feature anything previously mentioned, and in the end, it would ultimately cut his career short. So what would happen to a 4th overall pick that was destined to become a superstar? A native of Ugonna, Czech Republic, Pavel Brendl had a tremendous year in juniors, but nothing quite like his time in Calgary, as while playing for the Hitmen, Brendl would make the hype around him expand to new heights, especially during the start of the 1998 season, his rookie season, where Brendl would explode, racking up 73 goals in 68 games, 134 points in total. This stellar performance would help the Hitmen make the postseason, eventually winning it all, and the hero was none other than Brendl. After the season ended, he would take home the Bobby Clark, Jim Piggott, WHL, and CHL Rookie of the Year awards. However, this was only the beginning. 2001, the World Junior Championship game. The Czechs would win their second ever gold medal, and it happened largely because of Brendl's heroics. He led all tournament scorers with 10 points in 7 games played. Not only would this performance be enough to help win the gold, but it also resulted in the IIHF naming Brendl as a top forward, an all-star of the tournament. At this point, everything was looking up for the young Brendl, who was projected to be a potential top 3 pick in the upcoming draft, and many teams were hoping to potentially select him. But only one could potentially have him, and that particular franchise thought they hit the jackpot.
Well, Atlanta's had the first pick, Patrick Steffen, Vancouver 2 and 3, the Sedin twins. Now it's the 4th pick, and Tampa has traded it for Dan Cloutier and Nick Sundstrom to the New York Rangers. The Rangers have always been...
At the time, the New York Rangers were in desperate need of young talented wingers, someone to fill the void of the aging stars on the roster, and after seeing Brendl exceed in the WHL and World Junior Championship game, the Rangers were hoping he would fall into their laps at 4th overall, and sure enough,
are very pleased and proud today to select with the 4th selection in the 1999 entry draft from the Calgary Hitmen, Pavel Brendl.
the Rangers now had a potential franchise-changing player, but he came with concerns. Many scouts were stating that Brendl had very lazy habits that could lower his draft stock, and after a while, the Rangers would soon realize that the rumors had more than just an impact on his draft stock. It would affect his game. Brendl wouldn't make the Rangers roster as he wasn't committed to putting the effort into his own zone. Even with being such a high draft selection, the Rangers were not willing to insert a player in the lineup who would be a defensive liability to them. So Brendl would begin to play in the AHL. However, the rumors would continue to spread, and the Rangers had enough. August 2001, the Rangers would trade Brendl along with other players, which included Halvik, Janssen, and a 3rd round pick in exchange for Eric Lindros and a conditional pick in the 03 draft. A new organization, scenery, and environment for Brendl seemed like a fresh start for the 20-year-old. And in a way, that's what took place, as Brendl would finally play his first NHL games in the early portion of the Flyers' 01-02 season. Unfortunately, Brendl would only play 8 games that season, then got sent down, where he'd be 6th overall in team scoring, posting 15 goals and 22 assists for 37 points. The following season, Brendel would have a decent start with the Flyers. He became a regular insert for the club and played 42 games, without being designated to the minors once. This was not an easy lineup for Brendel to crack either, as Philly's roster included many big names such as Jeremy Roenick and Mark Recchi. However, the numbers he produced still were not meeting expectations, as he only scored 5 goals and posted 7 assists for only 12 points. Nowhere near what is expected of an elite goal scorer. And because of it, Philadelphia decided to go separate ways, trading Brendel and St. Jacques to Carolina in exchange for Sami Kapanen and Ryan Bast. And even after arriving in Carolina, Brendel's scoring still did not improve, as in 8 games to finish out the year with his new team, he picked up just a single assist. And what makes it interesting is that Carolina even tried to assemble an alt-check line, including Brendel, but it never gained any chemistry. After another year, mostly in the AHL, the lockout took place, and this was where Brendel's career seemed to officially derail. Most NHL players went on to other leagues that season to still get ice time and work on improving their game. Brendel went to a league as well, but then would bounce around other ones. And by the end of the lockout, Brendel would play for about 4 to 5 teams, in leagues well below the caliber of the NHL, and a huge gap between talent and skill. Many speculated this is supposed to be used as a confidence booster, but when the NHL eventually resumed for the 05-06 season, the way the game was played would drastically change, focusing more on speed and scoring talent, making it even harder for players like Brendel to succeed. Brendel would once again be traded and was sent to Arizona, and only played 2 NHL games, going scoreless. And afterwards, Brendel would never see NHL ice ever again, and after his second game, he was cut from the Coyotes. Brendel would continue the jump from league to league, and eventually retire in 2016. In his final year of play in Slovak, he only posted 6 points. It's upsetting to see anyone fail in the NHL, but when multiple reports come out showing millions how little effort one player puts into the game, it can affect everything. Brendel was supposed to be the one to fill in the gaps of guys like Messier and Graves. He had very high expectations, but not everyone can handle the physicality the league brings. Brendel will still have an impact on the league, however, but not as big as the one he left with a team in Calgary in 1998.
The organization and the temptation was so great to try to make a move to get a person like Pavel, and we gave up 2 significant players in Kluche and Sundstrom, but we feel it's really worth it. We feel it's really worth it. And